Story Vault TV presents.
Congratulations, future leaders!
Thank you, sir!
A new beginning. I can't wait. You'll be fine.
I'm going to Abuja! Kaduna for me.
Where are you posted? Cross River. That's far. I thought my service here would change my career. I never imagined it would change my life.
Calabar!
Excuse me, does this bus go to Obong?
Obong community.
God, protect everyone on this journey. Amen. Amen. Every kilometer took me farther from everything.
My daughter, where exactly are you serving?
Obong community.
That's where my cousin disappeared. This is where you get down.
Is someone coming to pick me up? They usually do, if they remember. For the first time since leaving home. Hello. Hello.
She's the new copper. Will she stay?
Please, is this the road to Obong community?
The road is easy to find.
Is the hard part. She's the new copper.
Eh?
Another one? Let's hope she lasts. Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, it's beautiful.
Sometimes the most beautiful places hide the darkest secrets.
Welcome to Obong community.
Thank you, Your Highness.
From today, you are one of us.
This is where I'll be staying?
Don't judge a house from outside.
Inside is slightly better.
Home.
I know, it looks than yesterday.
My daughter, you haven't eaten.
I was beginning to think everyone here was afraid of me.
We're not afraid of you. We're afraid for you.
People here don't stay outside after sunset.
Why? You'll get used to our traditions. Drums? Maybe last night was just my imagination.
Good morning, Copper.
Morning.
Ready to meet your students?
I've been ready since graduation.
Let's hope they're ready for you.
The students immediately stand.
She's beautiful.
In one voice,
She's
they say,
white.
"Good
Welcome,
morning,
teacher.
Auntie Corper."
Thank
Adaeze
you.
is surprised, then smiles. She places her books on the old wooden desk, writes her name on the chalkboard. Miss Adaeze Nwokoye. She turns to the class. "Before we open our books, tell me your dreams." The room goes quiet. One by one, little hands begin to rise. Wide shot inside the classroom, old wooden desks, cracked walls, a rusty ceiling fan that doesn't work. Sunlight shines through broken windows. The students immediately stand up. In one voice. Students. "Good morning, Auntie Corper." Adaeze smiles. She wasn't expecting such respect. Adaeze. "Good morning, everyone." The children remain standing. Adaeze, please sit. They all sit together. Adaeze writes on the chalkboard. "My future." She turns. Adaeze, books are important, but dreams are even more important. The children listen carefully. Adaeze, tell me, who wants to become something great? Every single hand goes up. Adaeze laughs happily. Adaeze, wonderful. She points at one boy. Boy, doctor. Another girl. Girl, pilot. Another boy. Boy, footballer. Everyone laughs. A tiny girl stands. Little girl, teacher. Just like you. Adaeze becomes emotional. Adaeze begins taking attendance. She reads names from the register. Adaeze, Emmanuel. Boy, present. Adaeze, Grace. Girl, present. She reaches another name. Adaeze, Daniel Ocon. Silence. She looks up. One desk is empty. Adaeze, is Daniel absent today? The children avoid eye contact. No one answers. Finally, the little girl who gave her the flower speaks quietly. Little girl. Daniel hasn't been to school. She swallows nervously. For 3 weeks. Adaeze, is he sick? Another child whispers. Boy, nobody knows. The classroom falls silent. Outside. A sudden gust of wind blows through the broken windows. The attendance register flips by itself. Adaeze looks toward the empty desk. She senses that this isn't an ordinary absence. The school bell rings. Children rush out laughing. Some play football with a homemade ball. Others run toward the village. Adaeze remains inside the classroom looking at Daniel's empty desk. She gently places her hand on it. She notices an old exercise book inside the desk. She opens it. On the first page is written in neat handwriting, Daniel O'Con, Primary 6. She flips through the pages. Daniel's drawings are surprisingly beautiful. One drawing catches her attention. It shows a forest, a line of people carrying lanterns, a small hut deep inside the trees. She pauses. Adaeze, whispering. Why would a child draw this? Adaeze steps outside the classroom. The little girl who gave her the flower earlier is waiting beneath the mango tree. She nervously twists the edge of her uniform. Adaeze, you're still here? Little girl, I wanted to tell you something. She looks around to make sure no adults are listening. Adaeze, you can tell me. Little girl, Daniel said. She lowers her voice. He saw lights in the forest. Adaeze, what lights? Little girl, lanterns. Just like the ones people carry at night. She suddenly stops talking. She notices someone watching from a distance. She runs away. Camera movement close up on the girl's face. Over-the-shoulder shot revealing a blurry figure watching from afar. Quick cut as the girl runs. Golden afternoon. Mama Eka sits outside her small house peeling vegetables. Adaeze approaches carrying Daniel's exercise book. She sits beside her Adaeze, Mama Eka. Can I ask you something? Mama Eka, go ahead. Adaeze, who is Daniel O'Con? Mama Eka stops peeling. Her smile disappears. She slowly lowers the knife. Mama Eka, eat your dinner. She avoids eye contact. Sleep early. Adaeze, Mama. Mama Eka finally looks at her. Tears gather in her eyes. Some questions keep people alive. She pauses. And some questions bury them. She stands up and quietly walks inside, leaving Adaeze sitting alone. Teacher's lodge. Night. A small, rechargeable lamp casts a warm glow. Adaeze sits on her bed, staring at Daniel's exercise book. The drawing of lanterns and a hidden hut fills the page. She hears the deep drums again. Boom. 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 She slowly closes the notebook. Adaeze, to herself. If everyone is afraid to talk, then I'll find the truth myself. She puts on her sneakers, picks up her flashlight, puts her phone in her pocket, takes a small power bank, wraps a light scarf around her neck, quietly opens the wooden door. The village is silent. Oil lamps are out. Adaeze hides behind a mud wall. In the distance, lantern lights begin appearing one after another. Villagers dressed in plain wrappers walk quietly in a single line. No one speaks. Chief O'Con is not among them. They head toward the forest. Adaeze waits a few seconds, then quietly follows. Adaeze, whispering, "Please don't let them see me." The forest is dense. Tall trees block the moonlight. The lanterns become the only source of light. Adaeze carefully steps over roots and rocks. Suddenly, crack. A dry branch snaps beneath her foot. The procession stops. Every lantern freezes. Silence. Adaeze hides behind a huge tree, holding her breath. One villager slowly turns, lifting the lantern to scan the darkness. For several tense seconds, nothing moves. Then another villager whispers, "Probably a bush rabbit." The procession continues. Adaeze exhales quietly. Adaeze, barely audible. That was close. The lantern procession emerges into a hidden clearing deep inside the rainforest. The clearing is surrounded by giant ancient trees. In the center, stands an old wooden warehouse with a rusty corrugated roof. The villagers quietly place their lanterns on the ground in a perfect circle. No one speaks. Adaeze crouches behind thick bushes, carefully watching. The camera slowly reveals several wooden crates stacked beside the warehouse. Some are marked medical supplies. Another crate is stamped relief materials. Adaeze frowns. Adaeze, whispering. Why would relief supplies be hidden in the middle of a forest? The warehouse door opens. Chief Okon steps out. The villagers bow respectfully. Standing beside him is a sharply dressed businessman from the city. He carries a briefcase. Chief Okon addresses the crowd. Chief Okon. Tomorrow morning, the government inspection team arrives. He pauses. No one must know these supplies were diverted. The businessman nods. The trucks will move before sunrise. A few villagers exchange uneasy glances. One elderly man lowers his head. He clearly disagrees, but remains silent. Adaeze's eyes widen. She quietly starts recording everything with her phone. Adaeze shifts slightly to get a better angle. Her foot knocks against a small metal can hidden beneath the bushes. Clang! The sound echoes through the clearing. Everyone freezes. Chief Okon slowly turns. Chief Okon. Who's there? Two men grab lanterns and begin searching toward the bushes. Adaeze quickly ducks lower. She switches off her flashlight and phone screen. The searchers move closer. 5 meters. 3 meters. 1 meter. A sudden loud rustling comes from another direction. A wild antelope bursts through the trees. The searchers chase after it, believing it made the noise. Adaeze remains frozen, breathing heavily. Chief Okon watches the darkness for a long moment before saying, "Let's finish quickly." The meeting continues. Adaeze realizes she has just survived being caught. The lantern procession disappears into the warehouse. Adaeze quietly backs away through the forest. She keeps looking over her shoulder. Her breathing is heavy. She almost slips into a muddy ditch, but catches herself. Moonlight barely reaches the forest floor. Every sound makes her jump Adaeze, whispering, "Just get back. Don't panic. Just get back." Adaeze finally reaches the teacher's lodge. She quietly locks the wooden door. She leans against it, exhausted. She drinks water. She looks at her wrist. Her smile disappears. Her silver bracelet is gone. Adaeze, no. She checks her pockets, looks inside her bag. Nothing. Back at the hidden clearing. The meeting has ended. Villagers extinguish the lanterns. Chief Okon prepares to leave. One of the guards notices something shining near the bushes. He bends down, picks it up. A silver bracelet. Dialogue. Guard. Chief. Someone was here. Chief Okon takes the bracelet. He studies it carefully. He smiles, but this time it is cold and calculating. Chief Okon. This doesn't belong to anyone in our village. He looks toward the dark forest. Find out who followed us. The guards nod silently. Golden sunrise over Obong community. Everything looks peaceful again. Children walk to school. Women laugh at the village well. Chief Okon smiles warmly as he greets villagers. Adaeze steps out of the lodge, pretending everything is normal. She and the chief exchange a polite smile. Neither of them reveals what happened during the night. The audience now knows. Both are hiding secrets from each other. Chief Okon. Good morning, Corper. Adaeze. Good morning, Chief. Chief Okon. I trust you slept well? Adaeze hesitates for a fraction of a second. Very well. Thank you. Chief Okon smiles. Good. He slips the silver bracelet into the pocket of his flowing robe. Adaeze notices the movement, but not what he put away. Morning. Village primary school. Children are laughing during break time. Adaeze sits alone at her wooden desk, reviewing lesson notes. One of the pupils quietly walks up to her and places a folded piece of paper on her desk. Before Adaeze can ask who sent it, the child runs away. She slowly unfolds the note. It reads, If you want to know what happened to Daniel, meet me behind the old church at 5 p.m. Come alone. Her heartbeat quickens. She looks around the classroom. Nobody seems to be watching. Adaeze, whispering. Who sent this? Late afternoon. An abandoned colonial-era church sits at the edge of the village. Its cracked stone walls are covered in vines. Broken stained glass windows cast colorful light inside. Adaeze arrives cautiously, checking that no one has followed her. She steps inside. Silence. Suddenly, a voice echoes behind her. Dialogue voice. You actually came. Adaeze turns quickly. It is David. Adaeze. You? David. Keep your voice down. He glances toward the entrance. Someone could be watching. 50 seconds. David looks nervous. He keeps checking the windows. He finally speaks. David, Daniel didn't run away. Adaeze stares at him. Adaeze. Then where is he? David hesitates. He saw something he shouldn't have seen. Adaeze remembers the drawing in Daniel's exercise book. Adaeze, the lanterns. David nods slowly. After that, he disappeared. Adaeze, why didn't you report it? David lowers his head. Because the last teacher who asked too many questions, he pauses. Requested a transfer the next week. Adaeze, requested? David looks away. That's what everyone was told. The room falls silent. Adaeze realizes this mystery is much bigger than she imagined. Outside the church, hidden behind a large tree, a hooded man silently watches through a cracked window. He cannot hear every word. But he sees Adaeze and David talking. He quietly takes a photograph with an old phone. He sends it. On the screen appears a single contact. Chief. The message reads, "She is not alone anymore." The phone vibrates. A reply appears. "Keep watching." The hooded man slips back into the trees. The afternoon sun hangs low over Obong community. Adaeze and David walk quietly down a narrow red earth path. The village becomes quieter. The houses are farther apart. They stop in front of a small abandoned compound. The gate hangs crooked on one hinge. Tall weeds have taken over the yard. The roof is partially collapsed. A faded football rests near the veranda. David stops walking. David, quietly. This was Daniel's home. Adaeze. It looks like nobody has lived here for months. David. His mother left the village after he disappeared. A heavy silence follows. David gently pushes the front door. It opens with a loud creak. Dust dances in the sunlight. The house is frozen in time. Daniel's school bag still hangs on a wooden peg. A pair of tiny sandals sits neatly beside the door. Adaeze slowly walks into Daniel's room. On the wall are hand-drawn pictures. A family photo hangs crooked. She gently brushes dust from the frame. Daniel smiles happily beside his mother. Adaeze, softly. He was just a child. David nods. Neither of them speaks for a few seconds. Adaeze kneels beside Daniel's bed. Something catches her eye. A loose wooden floorboard. She gently lifts it. Beneath it is a small tin box wrapped in cloth. She carefully opens it. Inside are a worn notebook, a simple compass, several sketches of the forest, a folded map with a path marked in red. A handwritten note. Adaeze unfolds the note. It reads, "If anything happens to me, the truth is hidden where the river meets the old silk cotton tree." David looks at her in disbelief. Daniel knew he was in danger. Adaeze, and he left us a trail. Outside the abandoned house, a pair of boots steps into frame, hidden behind tall elephant grass. Someone watches through the broken window. The observer quietly raises binoculars. Inside the house, Adaeze folds the map and slips it into her backpack. The observer whispers into a small walkie-talking observer. Outside the abandoned house, a pair of boots steps into frame, hidden behind tall elephant grass. Someone watches through the broken window. The observer quietly raises binoculars. inside the house. Adaeze folds the map and slips it into her backpack. The observer whispers into a small walkie-talkie observer, "Chief, they found something." A crackling voice replies. Chief Okan, over radio, "Don't stop them. Follow them." The observer smiles. The camera slowly pulls back, revealing he is much closer than Adaeze and David realize. "Chief, they found something," a crackling voice replies. Chief Okan, over radio, "Don't stop them. Follow them." The observer smiles.
Across the wooden table, David lights a kerosene lantern. The map shows Obong community, the primary school, the hidden warehouse, a winding river, a giant silk cotton tree marked with a red X. David traces the route with his finger. Dialogue. David, nobody uses this path anymore. Adaeze. Daniel wanted someone to find this, David. Or he wanted someone to finish what he started. Early morning, mist hangs over the forest. Adaeze and David hike carefully along Daniel's map. They cross a narrow bamboo bridge. They climb over fallen logs. David suddenly raises his hand. Dialogue. David, stop. Fresh boot prints are visible in the mud. Someone passed through only a few hours earlier. Adaeze, we're not the first. The forest opens into a clearing. A massive silk cotton tree towers above everything. Its roots spread across the ground like giant walls. Daniel's red X matches perfectly. Adaeze searches around the roots. She notices a loose stone. Together, she and David move it aside. Hidden beneath is a waterproof metal container. Adaeze opens it. Inside, a small memory card sealed in plastic. Daniel's final notebook. A list of truck registration numbers. Photographs showing relief supplies being secretly moved at night. Dialogue. Adaeze. Daniel collected evidence. David. Enough to expose everyone. Adaeze carefully places the evidence into her backpack. Just as Adaeze zips her backpack, slow applause echoes through the clearing. She freezes. Chief Okan steps out from behind the trees. 4 armed guards stand behind him. The city businessman appears beside them. Chief Okan smiles calmly. Dialogue. Chief Okan. I've been waiting for you. David steps protectively in front of Adaeze. David, let her go. Chief Okan shakes his head. Chief Okan, Daniel was brave. You are brave. Brave people usually make dangerous choices. Adaeze grips her backpack tightly. Adaeze, people are suffering because of what you're doing. Chief Okan's expression hardens. Chief Okan, give me the evidence. No one moves. The wind picks up. The guards slowly surround Adaeze and David. The camera circles the group as the tension builds. The forest suddenly becomes completely silent. Chief Okan extends his hand. Chief Okan. The bag, Adaeze. Adaeze looks at David. David quietly shakes his head. Chief Okan, don't make this difficult. Adaeze, you already made it difficult when you started stealing from your own people. The chief's expression changes. One of his men steps forward. Guard, take it. The guard reaches for Adaeze's backpack. Suddenly, David grabs a fallen branch and knocks the man's hand away. David, run! Adaeze turns and runs. Adaeze races through the forest. Branches slap against her arms. She refuses to stop. Behind her, guard, don't let her escape. David runs after her. He looks back. 2 guards are gaining on them. David, Adaeze, left! Adaeze turns sharply. She jumps across a narrow stream. David follows. 1 guard tries to cross. His foot slips. He falls into the shallow water. Adaeze and David continue running. Adaeze and David reach a rocky section of the forest. They see a small opening between enormous rocks. David grabs her arm. David, inside! They squeeze into the narrow opening. The guards run past. Adaeze covers her mouth to stop herself from breathing loudly. David puts 1 finger against his lips. Outside. Footsteps stop. A guard looks around. Guard, they disappeared. Another voice answers, search the river. The footsteps slowly disappear. Assamese finally exhales. Inside the cave, Adaeze looks at David. Adaeze, you knew. David doesn't answer. Adaeze, you knew about the supplies. David, I knew something was wrong. Adaeze, that's not what I asked. David looks down. David, my father worked for the chief. Adaeze becomes surprised. David, he was the one who helped transport the supplies. Adaeze takes a step back. Adaeze, and you never told me? David, because when I found out, my father was already dead. Silence. David, I spent years trying to understand what happened. He looks at her. Daniel was the first person brave enough to collect proof. Adaeze softens. Adaeze, then we finish what he started. Adaeze removes Daniel's memory card from the evidence container. Adaeze, if this contains everything. David, then we don't need to stay here. Adaeze checks her phone. No signal. David remembers something. David, there's an old radio station near the river. Adaeze, radio station? David, it hasn't operated in years. He pauses. But there's still a transmission tower. Adaeze understands. Adaeze, if we reach the tower, David, we can send the evidence outside the community. They stand. David nods. Adaeze and David cautiously leave the cave. They follow a narrow path toward the river. Suddenly, someone whistles. Adaeze freezes. An elderly woman steps from behind a tree. It is Mama Ika. Adaeze is shocked. Adaeze, Mama. Mama Ika looks around.
Zintu. David approaches. David, how did you find us? Mama Ika smiles sadly. Mama Ika, because I was the one who sent you the note. Adaeze's eyes widen. Adaeze, you? Mama Ika nods. Daniel came to me before he disappeared. She reaches into her wrapper and pulls out an old key. Mama Ika, he told me that one day someone would come looking for the truth. She places the key in Adaeze's hand. Mama Ika, now I know that person is you. Mama Ika leads Adaeze and David through thick vegetation. The river flows quietly beside them. She stops beside an old concrete structure, almost completely covered by vines. There is a rusty metal door. Mama Ika takes out the key. Adaeze stares at it. Adaeze, what is this place? Mama Ika looks toward the village. Mama Ika, the place everyone was told to forget. David looks at the door. David, the old communications station. Mama Ika nods. Daniel found it. She inserts the key. Click. The lock opens. The door opens. Inside is a forgotten communications room. Old equipment covers the walls. Dusty radio transmitters. Broken microphones. A large metal control panel. David walks toward it. He wipes away dust. David, it still has power. Adaeze looks shocked. Adaeze, how? Mama Ika points toward a small generator. Mama Ika, Daniel repaired it. Adaeze looks at the equipment. Adaeze, he planned everything. David notices an old computer terminal. He presses the power button. Nothing happens. He tries again. The screen flickers. Power restored. Everyone freezes. The old monitor suddenly displays a video file. Daniel_Ocon_final. Adaeze looks at David. Adaeze, that's him. David presses play. Daniel appears on the screen. He looks frightened. He's speaking quietly. Daniel, recording. If you're watching this, it means they didn't find everything. Adaeze's eyes fill with tears. Daniel. Recording. The supplies aren't going where they say they're going. They're being sold. The money is shared between people inside the community and people outside. He pauses. Chief Ocon knows. David looks devastated. Daniel continues. But there's something else. He looks behind him nervously. Someone inside the operation is helping me. The video suddenly glitches. The screen goes black. Outside Obong community, a government SUV drives through the village. Children run after it. The vehicle stops in front of the community hall. A woman steps out. Mrs. Amara Bello, 38, a serious government inspection officer. She carries a folder. She looks around carefully. Chief Okan approaches with a huge smile. Chief Okan. Madam Bello, Mrs. Bello, Chief Okan. They shake hands. Chief Okan. We weren't expecting you until tomorrow. Mrs. Bello smiles politely. Mrs. Bello, plans changed. She looks toward the warehouse trucks in the distance. Mrs. Bello, I hope everything is exactly as reported. Chief Okan's smile becomes slightly forced. Chief Okan, of course. Back inside the communications station, Adaeze's phone suddenly vibrates. Unknown number. She answers. Adaeze, hello? Silence. Then a distorted male voice. Leave the station. Adaeze freezes. Adaeze, who is this? Voice. You have 5 minutes. The call ends. David looks at her. David, what happened? Adaeze slowly lowers the phone. Adaeze, they know where we are. Mama Ika immediately switches off the equipment. Mama Eka, then we leave. Now. As they rush outside, Mama Eka stops. She looks back at the communications room. Mama Eka, wait. She returns inside. Adaeze follows. Mama Eka opens an old metal cabinet. Inside is a small envelope. She removes it. Adaeze, what's that? Mama Eka hesitates. Mama Eka. The reason Daniel trusted me. She hands the envelope to Adaeze. Inside is a photograph. Daniel is standing beside another person. Adaeze looks closely. Her expression changes. Adaeze. No, David steps closer. He sees the photograph. His face goes pale. The person standing beside Daniel is David's late father. Early evening. Adaeze, David and Mama Ika emerge from the forest. They stop when they see several government vehicles parked near the community hall. David looks worried. David, she's here already. Adaeze, Mrs. Bello? David nods. Mama Ika. Then we have very little time. Adaeze grips the evidence bag. Adaeze, we need to get this to her. Mama Ika immediately shakes her head. Mama Ika, not yet. Adaeze, why? Mama Ika looks toward the community hall. Mama Ika, because we don't know who we can trust. Inside the community hall. Chief Okan stands before Mrs. Bello. A large table is covered with documents. He appears confident. Chief Okan, as you can see, madam, our community has used every allocation responsibly. Mrs. Bello flips through the documents. Mrs. Bello, according to these records, you received 3 trucks of medical supplies last month. Chief Okan, correct. Mrs. Bello, where are they? Chief. Okan pauses for half a second. Chief Okan, they were distributed. Mrs. Bello, then let's see the distribution records. Chief Okan's smile disappears. Adaeze enters. Everyone looks at her. Chief Okan's eyes immediately go to her, then to David, then back to Adaeze. He realizes they found something. Mrs. Bello recognizes Adaeze from the school. Mrs. Bello, Miss Adaeze? Adaeze, yes, Ma. Mrs. Bello, how are you settling into the community? Adaeze looks at Chief Okan, then at David. Adaeze, I'm settling in. Chief Okan smiles, but his eyes are cold. Mrs. Bello suddenly stands. Mrs. Bello, I'd like to inspect the storage facility. Chief Okan immediately objects. Chief Okan, perhaps tomorrow would be better. Mrs. Bello, why? Chief Okan, it's getting dark. Mrs. Bello looks at him. Mrs. Bello, that's exactly why I'd like to see it now. They walk outside. Adaeze follows. Behind the community hall, several trucks are parked. One truck is already loaded. Mrs. Bello walks toward it. She opens the back. Empty boxes. She turns toward Chief Okan. Mrs. Bello, where are the supplies? Chief Okon says nothing. Mrs. Bello turns toward the villagers. Mrs. Bello. Who received these supplies? Silence. Mrs. Bello turns toward the villagers. Mrs. Bello. Who received these supplies? Silence. Nobody speaks. Chief Okon looks around. Chief Okon. These people are afraid of government officials. Mrs. Bello looks at him. Mrs. Bello. I'm not asking you. She faces the villagers again. I'm asking them. An elderly man steps forward. His hands tremble. Elderly man. We didn't receive anything. Everyone looks at him. Chief Okon's expression becomes dangerous. Elderly Madame. The trucks came, but they left again. Another woman steps forward. Woman. My son needed medicine. She begins crying. We were told there was none. More villagers begin speaking. The hall erupts with voices. For the first time, the villagers are no longer silent. Adaeze watches emotionally. Nobody speaks. Chief Okon looks around. Chief Okon. These people are afraid of government officials. Mrs. Bello looks at him. Mrs. Bello. I'm not asking you. She faces the villagers again. I'm asking them. An elderly man steps forward. His hands tremble. Elderly man. We didn't receive anything. Everyone looks at him. Chief Okon's expression becomes dangerous. Elderly man. The trucks came, but they left again. Another woman steps forward. Woman. My son needed medicine. She begins crying. We were told there was none. More villagers begin speaking. The hall erupts with voices. For the first time, the villagers are no longer silent. Adaeze watches emotionally. Chief Okon suddenly raises his hand. The hall becomes quiet. Chief Okon. Enough! He turns toward Mrs. Bello. Chief Okon. These accusations are coming from people who have been manipulated. His eyes move toward Adaeze. Chief Okon. Especially outsiders. Adaeze steps forward. Adaeze. If telling the truth makes me an outsider. She looks around at the villagers. Then perhaps someone needed to be one. The villagers begin murmuring in agreement. Chief Okon's face hardens. Mrs. Bello looks between them. Mrs. Bello, everyone will remain here. She points toward Chief Okon. And nobody leaves until I finish this inspection. As everyone begins moving around the hall, David quietly approaches Adaeze. He whispers, David, the photograph. Adaeze looks at him. David. As everyone begins moving around the hall, David quietly approaches Adaeze. He whispers, David, the photograph. Adaeze looks at him. David, look at the background. She takes the photograph from her pocket. They examine it carefully. Behind Daniel and David's father is the same old warehouse. But there's something else. A painted number appears on the warehouse wall. 17 Adaeze suddenly remembers the truck records. One truck has the same number. Adaeze, the truck. David nods. David. That's where look at the background. She takes the photograph from her pocket. They examine it carefully. Behind Daniel and David's father is the same old warehouse. But there's something else. A painted number appears on the warehouse wall. 17 Adaeze suddenly remembers the truck records. One truck has the same number. Adaeze, the truck. David nods. David. That's as everyone begins moving around the hall. David quietly approaches Adaeze. He whispers, David, the photograph. Adaeze looks at him. David. Look at the background. She takes the photograph from her pocket. They examine it carefully. Behind Daniel and David's father is the same old warehouse. But there's something else. A painted number appears on the warehouse wall. 17 Adaeze suddenly remembers the truck records. One truck has the same number. Adaeze, the truck. David nods. David. That's where they're keeping the real supplies. Adaeze looks toward Mrs. Bello. Adaeze. Then we finally know where to look. Where they're keeping the real. The village is slowly becoming dark. Mrs. Bello stands beside Adaeze and David. She speaks quietly. Mrs. Bello, if that truck contains what you say it does, I need proof before I make an arrest. Adaeze nods. Adaeze, Daniel left enough evidence. David looks toward the parked trucks. David, but Chief Okon knows we're looking. Mrs. Bello checks her watch. Mrs. Bello, then we move before he does. Adaeze looks at the truck. Adaeze, truck 17. Mrs. Bello nods. Let's find out what's inside the 3 walk toward the truck. Adaeze holds Daniel's notebook. David carries a flashlight. Mrs. Bello carries her official folder. They reach the rear doors. Mrs. Bello examines the lock. Mrs. Bello, it's been opened recently. David notices fresh scratches around the metal. David, someone tried to hide it. Adaeze looks around. We're being watched. They all turn. Nothing. Only darkness. Mrs. Bello removes a key. She unlocks the rear doors. Clank. The doors slowly open. Everyone freezes. Inside are dozens of boxes. Medicine, mosquito nets, school supplies, baby formula. Everything the community was told had never arrived. Adaeze covers her mouth. Adaeze, oh my God. David picks up a box. David, they've been keeping everything here. Mrs. Bello looks furious. Mrs. Bello, take photographs. Adaeze pulls out her phone. She begins documenting everything. David notices something strange. One section of the truck floor is raised. David. Wait, he kneels. He knocks on the metal. Thud. Thud! The sound is hollow. Mrs. Bello looks at him. Mrs. Bello. Move those boxes. They clear the area. David finds a hidden latch. He pulls it. A compartment opens beneath the floor. Inside are cash bundles, ledgers, fake delivery documents, several phones, a small digital camera. Adaeze stares. Adaeze, this is everything. Mrs. Bello picks up the ledger. Mrs. Bello names. She flips through it. Her expression changes. Mrs. Bello, Chief Okon. She continues reading. Then Mrs. Bello and several government officials. Suddenly, bang! Everyone freezes. A sound comes from deeper inside the truck. Adaeze slowly turns. Adaeze, did you hear that? Another sound. Bang! David shines his flashlight toward the front of the truck. David, someone's inside. Mrs. Bello steps forward. Mrs. Bello, move the boxes. They begin clearing them. Another weak knock. Bang. Then silence. They move the final box. Behind it is a small, locked wooden crate. David breaks the lock. The lid opens. Inside, a frightened young boy is curled up. Dirty, weak, but alive. Adaeze gasps. Adaeze, Daniel? The boy slowly opens his eyes. He recognizes her. Daniel, teacher. Adaeze immediately kneels beside him. Adaeze, Daniel? She hugs him carefully. David is speechless. Mrs. Bello immediately calls for medical assistance. Mrs. Bello, he's alive. Daniel begins crying. Daniel, they were going to move me tonight. Adaeze looks at him. Adaeze, who? Daniel looks terrified. Daniel, Chief Okon. Silence. Then Daniel whispers, but Chief isn't the real boss. Everyone freezes. Daniel lies on a small examination bed. A nurse checks his pulse. Adaeze stands beside him. David waits near the doorway. Mrs. Bello speaks quietly with the nurse. Nurse, he's dehydrated, but he'll recover. Adaeze exhales with relief. She gently holds Daniel's hand. Adaeze, you're safe now. Daniel looks at her. Daniel. No. Adaeze's smile disappears. Daniel. Nobody is safe. He looks toward the window. Daniel. They know I escaped. Mrs. Bello closes the clinic door. She looks at Daniel. Mrs. Bello. Daniel, I need you to tell me everything. Daniel nods. Mrs. Bello. Who ordered the supplies to be taken? Daniel looks at Adaeze. Then David. Daniel, Chief Okon. Mrs. Bello nods. Daniel. But Chief was taking orders from someone. David steps closer. David. Who? Daniel hesitates. Daniel. A man from the city. Adaeze remembers the businessman from the warehouse. Adaeze. The man we saw with Chief? Daniel shakes his head. Daniel. No. Everyone freezes. Daniel. That man works for him. Mrs. Bello leans forward. Mrs. Bello. Then who is he? Daniel whispers a name. Mr. Bassi. David's expression changes. David steps away from everyone. He looks shaken. Adaeze follows him into the corridor. Adaeze. David? He doesn't answer. Adaeze. What's wrong? David finally speaks. David. Mr. Bassi. He laughs bitterly. David. That's my father's business partner. Adaeze freezes. Adaeze. What? David. Before my father died, he accused Bassi of stealing money. Adaeze remembers the photograph. David. 2 weeks later, my father was dead. Silence. Adaeze. You think he killed him? David looks at her. David. I don't know. He pauses. But I think he knows why my father died. Adaeze takes his hand. Adaeze. Then we'll find out.